Okay, so we're back with another NRL news video, and we're gonna jump straight into it today, and we've got a lot to talk about, especially with the return of Will Chambers. Pretty strange, but yeah, jump straight into it. So we've got the first game, Raiders versus Rabbidos, on tomorrow night. Not too much has changed for these teams. Besides obviously they're resting Papali, Josh Papali, and they're putting in Tarpany for this week, which is completely fine. Yeah, not too much to talk about. There hasn't been any returns really of injuries or anything. Yeah, that's about it with this game. Obviously, with Latrell Mitchell out, Cody Walker's at fullback, so just the way Raiders have been playing, you can definitely probably tip Rabbidos. Like, just obviously their back line just looks a bit stronger. Obviously, they've got Caleb Akins, the Raiders at fullback, who is definitely not as strong as, or isn't as strong as Cody Walker. And yeah, forwards again, Rabbidos just have a bit of a stronger pack there. Bench, I'd probably say Raiders have a bit of a better bench, but yeah. We do have Jared Croker out. I don't feel like he's making too much impact, so it's not going to matter too much for Raiders. I think Rabbidos are easily going to win this game. Alright, Storm versus Sharks. There's a lot of strange things in this game. So obviously we have Pavinazen, who's still not returned after his AC shoulder injury. So Nico Hines filling that number 1 role before he returns. And yeah, that's about it. They're still playing Harry Grant on the bench, which is a bit strange. I feel like they'd be playing even better if they just had Harry Grant playing full minutes and Brandon Smith at lock with Kemi Kamika on the bench. But yeah, it's weird. Will Chambers, number 3. What's going on there? So he's come out of retirement and he's signed a deal with the Sharks to play. Not sure how many years, but so he's joined the Sharks, so he'll definitely make an impact on them, being like one of the best centres in the game in the past. Yeah, it's going to make it pretty interesting to see how he goes this week, and depending on his impact in the game, we can see how we're going to tip Sharks from now on this year. But yeah, Sean Johnson returning to the number 6 role will help Sharks a bit more. But just again, against the Storm side, they're not going to win. Even though like Will Chambers, Sean Johnson returning, and a pretty strong team for them. Like, it's just not as good as Storm, is it? But yeah. Maddie Mullin, he's been dropped. Pretty sure with an injury. I'm not too sure if he was dropped with an injury. I'll have a look. No, so it doesn't say anything about Matt Mullin. Yeah, quad injury, that's right. So Matt Mullin's picked up a quad injury this week and last week, so he'll miss this game. I don't see a spot for him anymore, to be honest. Like, they could play him at fullback, but Will Kennedy's been playing pretty well, hasn't he? Like, I wouldn't be dropping him. Alright, so we've got Broncos Titans here. We got fullback Jermaine Sarko and Brimson. It's just again, it doesn't really matter the injuries in this game. Like, they've even dropped Tommy Dearden. But they have brought back Milford. Fair enough. I'll be giving him another chance. See how he goes this week. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. They're just not a good side anymore, are they? Levi, I don't know what's happening there, but they're playing him like half a game and Turpin half a game. Turpin's been really good for them. I don't see what's going on there, but yeah. That's about it for this game. There's not too many injuries or anything. Obviously, Payne Haas has returned for the past few rounds, making those meters up the middle for them. And he does have the possibility to score a couple tries. And this is a game where I think Broncos, if they have a really good game, then I think they could actually win over the Titans. But you just can't tip Broncos, can you, unless you really want to take that risk. But yeah. Don't think there's too many injuries. Jesse Arthur's coming back from his illness. Tessie New put on reserves after being dropped. Yeah. Panthers Eagles. Obviously, Abby Coruscant's back. He'll make a very big impact, and it's just, I don't think there's anything to talk about in this game. Even though Tommy Turbo's back and has just basically made Manly start being able to flog teams. Like, they haven't had too much competition, have they? They've had Titans and Tigers, was it? But yeah, Panthers just definitely tip them, I think. Bulldogs, Eels, you can definitely tip Eels, I'd say. Obviously, not too much has changed again. Lockie Lewis is still not returned for the Bulldogs, and they're just not a good side, are they? Eels do have Ryan Madison back on the bench, so that's going to help him more as an Origin player. Like, he's a great player, and he'll definitely have an impact with them. Yeah. Knights, Roosters. I'd say you have to tip Roosters after last week, but yeah. Ponga's back after a few weeks. He's been back for the past few weeks. Mitchell Pearce still out with his chest injury, his pectoral tear. They're putting Roosters have put Sam Verrills onto the starting side in the number 9 jersey for Ben Marshke. Yeah, so not too many changes here. Just they're keeping it pretty basic. Like I gave them the Knights, so they really haven't changed much, have they? Oh, Fitzgibbon. What? It says he's in. Where's Lachlan Fitzgibbon? Maybe reserves. Yeah, so Fitzgibbon put back to the reserves. Yeah, so he should be returning next week or the week after. Warriors, Cowboys. You can tip Warriors. I just think you have to. But Reece Walsh, after they've dropped O'Sullivan, so after RTS stands up for Reece Walsh, saying he needs to get a spot, which is fair enough. He had a really good game last week at fullback, but there's a rumour going around that it's likely Roger and Reece are going to swap positions. So Roger will play number 6, and Reece Walsh is going to play fullback. So yeah. Cowboys side, not too much change. Tamalolo has returned, which will be pretty good for them. Yeah, Tohu Harris back in after his concussion last week for Warriors. That's about it there. What was information on that game? Dragons, Tigers. Not too much to talk about here. Obviously, you could tip Dragons. Not too much. Ben Hunt. He's going to make the Dragons a lot stronger. He's definitely he's returned to the halfback role for them. That'll be awesome for their side. They can probably look to maybe jump up to the 5th position this week, depending on how much they beat Tigers by compared to Roosters and their margin in their game. But yeah, Joseph O'Leary's back on the in the centres after being dropped. Simpkins still holding his spot over Jacob Little, who's in reserves, and Stefano Utuikamanu is put back to the bench for Alex Twal, who's gone out of the lock position in the front row for Offhand Dowie put to the lock role. Josh Maguire, after moving to Dragons, has been pretty good for them. He'll be getting a fair few minutes down the middle again. Yeah. Alright, that's it for this week, guys. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with the final tips and predictions video. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one.